Hi, my name is Vanessa, and I'm a physical therapy student at the University of Scranton.
Hi, I'm Alexa. I'm a student at Ithaca College, and today we're doing a presentation on balance and postural control for older adults.
Hello, my name is Vanessa Figueres, and I'm here with Alexa Gonzalez. We're going to talk about the benefits of balance and mobility for older adults. So, before we talk about why balance and mobility are important, we will first define what we mean by these terms. So, balance is your body's ability to stay steady, maintain control, and know where you are in space while you're standing or moving. Your body uses several different sources of information to help you maintain your balance. So your eyes tell you what you see around you, which would be your visual system. Your muscles and joints give your brain information about how your body is positioned and moving, which makes up your somatosensory feedback. And then your inner ear and your brain, which are part of the vestibular system, help you understand where your body is in space. And these systems all work together to help you stay upright and move safely. Mobility is the ability to move yourself safely and independently from one place to another, and this can include activities like getting up from a chair, walking through a grocery store, or climbing the stairs. So, why is this important? So, our daily activities are multifaceted, and they are much more complex than what we may realize. So, we often have to walk, turn, carry something, talk to someone, or pay attention to our surroundings all at the same time. As we age, we have some natural age-related changes that occur that include a decrease in executive function and a loss of muscle mass. And these changes can make our everyday activities more challenging. So, balance and mobility are very critical components to one's participation in salient activity and allowing us to continue to do the activities that we enjoy. So, whether that includes going grocery shopping or spending time with family, maintaining mobility can help you to continue to do these things. So, balance plays an important role in helping us maintain control of our bodies during our everyday activities. So, as the sensory, cognitive, and musculoskeletal systems decline, which we discussed previously, it becomes more difficult to maintain control during ADLs. So, participating in balance intervention can help us keep this control. One of the biggest concerns associated with decreased balance is falling. So falls and related injuries can be detrimental to the older adult and seriously impair quality of life. So fall prevention is not just about avoiding falls, but also maintaining your confidence and your ability to keep participating in the activities that you enjoy. Um, People who experience a fall, they frequently have a fear of following their fall, which results in them moving less, which also causes them to decrease their strength and their balance. So it further reinforces the importance of participating in balance interventions in order to prevent future falls or any fall initially. So why does mobility matter? So mobility is one of the key determinants of healthy aging and quality of life, and it is integral to us maintaining our postural control. It's a predictor of independence, and it also allows for confident movement. So when we have a decline in mobility, this is a multifactorial process, and a lot of things influence the decline. So we have physical factors that can include a decrease in balance, strength, speed, pain, chronic disease, and frailty. We have environmental factors that include home safety, accessibility, transportation, community design. We have psychological factors that include fear, depression, motivation, and cognition. And then we have social factors, including family support, social participation, access, and community involvement. Luckily, a lot of these factors can be modified or improved in some way, shape, or form, whether it includes participating in physical activity and exercise, medical management for some of our chronic disease, modifying our environment, like in the home, um, such as decreasing the amount of carpeting that we have in the house. And then social factors can be modified by just increasing the support or building greater community connections.
So, there are quite a few studies out there showing the importance of balance and mobility training. The first study we're looking at was a randomized control trial that looked at a 24-week program that included both resistance and balance training combined. And the results of this found that there was an improvement in physical function, dynamic balance, and walking speed in the resistance and balance group. There was also improvements in resistance training alone, but the resistance and balance training combined additionally benefited both dynamic balance as well as lower extremity muscle function specifically. The next study was a systematic review that looked at dual task training, and what it found is that most balance training is done in single task. And so dual task training was extremely beneficial compared to no intervention, as well as other traditional interventions such as physical therapy, stretching, single task balance exercises, walking, and multi-component exercise. And the dual task training was found to be significantly beneficial for improving balance. The last study that we're looking at is also a systematic review that looked at multi-component exercises. And so to be considered a multi-component exercise, there had to be at least three different types of exercises, whether that was aerobic, balance, stretching, mobility, all those kinds of things. And what this review found was that a multi-component exercise program significantly reduced frailty. It had a beneficial effect on muscle strength, endurance, increased gait speed, and improved balance overall. So this is a big number. 150 minutes is the recommendation from the CDC. So the goal is 150 minutes per week, suggested to break that up 30 minutes a day, as whatever you can get done. But on top of this aerobic exercise, you also want to strive for at least 2 days of strengthening and balance specific exercises to make sure we're maintaining that cardiovascular health, that decreasing the decline in loss of muscle mass, as well as keeping our balance up. So here are some recommendations from various studies about balance program recommendations, how often you should be doing, what you should be doing. So an ideal length to really see some notable progress is around 11 to 12 weeks. That's when things really start to become more noticeable. Ideally, you're training at least 3 times per week. More is great. Consistency is key. So as you're consistent, you'll progress gradually, you maintain that progress, and you keep moving forward. So as you're consistent, you'll progress in the frequency and duration. And the results were that there was both improvements in static and dynamic balance, as well as reactive and proactive balance. So that was a lot of statistics, info, and data. So how can that be implemented into one program? So you want to make sure that you're targeting all different types of balance. Static balance is more activities that are standing still, whether that's balancing on one leg in tandem stance, all those kinds of things. The next one would be dynamic balance. You're adding in some sort of movement. So whether that's walking, you're standing on one leg and you're reaching in different directions, you're walking and changing directions. That's more of a dynamic balance exercise. Then you have reactive balance, which is your system is processing some sort of external stimuli. That's where the executive function comes into this. And so being able to take on something, whether that's tripping, someone pushes you, you lose your balance, all those kinds of things, that's your more reactive balance. And then lastly, dual task is that cognitive and motor component. So balancing while thinking of doing something else, whether that's walking from the kitchen holding a plate, or you're grocery shopping and you're looking up and down the aisles as you walk. That's more of your dual task balance. So to implement it all, you want to make sure you're targeting all kinds of balance in your practice. So here are just a whole bunch of different types of ideas, exercises that you can try to start training your balance, making that progress, keeping everything up as much as you can. So for static balance, this can look like a tandem stance where you're standing heel to toe, balancing on one leg. Maybe you have some upper extremity support with that, more of a flamingo pose, a tree pose. Lots of ideas that you can look into. More dynamic balance would be standing leg circle. So that would look something like standing on one leg and your other leg is circling around, or your star bounce where your heel is trying to tap in the shape of a star, or more of a heel to toe walk, getting that balance moving. A dual task exercise could look like walking with head turns, walking while carrying something, sidestepping, counting backwards while you do these exercises, getting that cognitive component in to that dynamic balance. Then some mobility exercises, making sure that you're able to keep up with activities around the home and the community, heel raises, marching, stretching, all those things to help you navigate things you wouldn't think about, walking stairs, getting in and out of a chair. And then lastly, you want to have that resistance training to maintain that strength, slow the progression of loss of muscle mass. So things like a sit to stand, wall push-ups, bridges, leg lifts, things that are weight bearing, loading the muscles, building that strength. So the most important thing is that you're implementing all these exercises safely. So as you look at this chart, we've outlined some progressions, regressions, ideas of where to start. And so you want to maintain safety, as we talked about, preventing falls, super important. So as you look at the chart, moving right and moving down, those are the progressions on how to make things harder. But as always, feel free to use some upper extremity support as you feel necessary. And as you feel more confident, you can take away that support, move to more of that dynamic exercises, and all of that good stuff. All right, well, thank you so much for your time. Here are our references if you need more information or are looking for more ideas. And we hope you're able to implement some of these strategies.